What's going on, Alec? Welcome to Tarqaron. Today we're doing something a little different. You know what I'm talking about? This is something brand new. It's not gaming, it's not film, it's not television. It's a whole new world. So I proposed the idea of doing hypothetical questions. And there's a podcast I listen to from a channel I watch called Blind Wave. And one podcast they did literally this, which is HYPERtheticals 50 Questions for Insane Conversations.
I like how that's turning up with the blur. That's really great.
Oh, well, there's no blur for anyone else.
Oh.
So, yeah, so they had fun just like reading through and just like literally that was a podcast just discussing these. So
Cool.
Some of them aren't as cool as others, obviously. Some of them aren't as detailed, but I figure I'll just go through them. I'm not going to pick out any.
Just do a few. Just do a few of them
Yeah.
at random. Okay.
Yeah. And see how it goes. Maybe we'll do more in the future.
Also, sorry, I'm eating dinner or was eating dinner, so
Oh,
you
that's
just
fine.
decided to start.
It's fine. So, I mean, I know only a couple of these just from, like, glancing at some and from that podcast, but who
Right.
knows what's coming up first.
All right, well, lay some on me here.
Wait, let me read this intro card they have here.
An intro card.
Some people are extremely good at making small talk. These people are better known as idiots. These are the kinds of humans who can talk to a stranger for 40 minutes without learning anything essential about who that stranger is.
I was gonna call them Chads, but yeah, you can call them that too.
They talk about the weather and about other people, and they mention what kind of car they drive and how old their children are. They have conversations in public that are ultimately no different than silence in an empty room. I refuse to be that kind of person. I refuse to make small talk. I refuse. I don't care what the situation is or what the protocol is supposed to be. I see no value in asking someone a friendly, non-adversarial question if neither party cares what the answer is. Instead, I prefer to ask questions where the solution is irrelevant. I pose hypothetical questions where how one answers the query matters far more than the literal conclusion. There's no right answer to these kinds of questions. The end never matters. What matters is how you get to the end. What matters is how you think, not what you think. This deck represents those questions. If these questions seem absurd or boorish or juvenile, that's totally fine. Don't read them and don't answer
Because they
them.
are.
We don't need to be friends. We are not the same. But if you want to find out who other people really are, these are the conversations you need to have. And you need to have them now. Prepare to become more interesting.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Okay. I like the sound of that. That's interesting.
Alright, so it gives you a little card like this. You might not be able to see it, but it's fine.
Nope, I cannot.
It says The Honesty Room is the name of the thing.
That's the name of the card.
Yeah. So, someone builds a paranormal honesty room. Within the walls of this room, it is impossible for anyone to tell lies or to avoid answering whatever questions they are asked. This same inventor also creates a memory loss drug that is released into the air inside the honesty room as an airborne mist. What this means is that people who enter the honesty room will not remember what they said, what questions they were asked, or even that they were ever there. The only antidote to the memory loss drug is a pill, and you have this pill. So, in essence, you have access to a room where every guest who enters will tell you the absolute truth about anything, and then immediately forget what they were asked and what they said. But you will retain everything you learn. You are inside the honesty room with your parents. What do you ask them?
That was like way too detailed.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in the honesty room, like all this huge detail, and then you could have just said if you could ask your parents anything, and they wouldn't. So hold on. So the rules are, you don't remember that you answered what you answered, but you remembered what other people answered to you, or rather, you don't remember what you were asked, but you remember what people answered you. Right? I'm very confused. It was like way too much all at once. They're telling me about some antidotes to some mist and everything. I don't know what's going on. And then yeah, you're gonna have to.
Okay, well, it's the essence is that everybody who comes in will forget everything that they say and hear, but
they retain. But
they don't retain anything. You have the one pill that allows you to retain it after you take it.
Okay.
So you're the one person who gets to retain everything. Anyone else?
If I had asked my parents anything.
Yeah. I would ask who the favorite child is for sure. because I have three, and obviously she refuses to answer, but there's no way there's not a favorite, so.
Yeah, I mean, like,
But I don't have anything juicy.
yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I don't. There's nothing really like. I don't really know anything that I really even care to know that would be juicy. I
Right.
mean, I'm a terribly boring person when it comes to this question. Like, I don't know.
Right, I think like parents would be the least that I would need to know from.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of the normal one. Yeah, who's the favorite child? I mean, like, I, in essence, like, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter
It
because
really probably.
I feel like I've been raised pretty well, and I know my two brothers were
Yeah.
raised pretty well.
In fact, knowing the answer to that question would not help anyone. But
Yeah.
if anything, it makes you feel worse afterward. It's
It's
just
like, oh, it is me. Oh, why?
no,
If that was the answer, it'd
no,
be like
they're just easily. They're like easily. My sister is my favorite.
easily it's the oldest,
Yeah,
the paragon of virtue.
yeah. We're the
Um,
youngest. Never in the middle.
That's me. So
So yeah, I don't have anything juicy for that. To be
I
honest.
don't. I just. Well, that was a dud. We
If
struck
you're-
out on that one. Yeah,
What
I
if
just
you-
don't. I just don't have anything like overly interesting that I would that I would think about asking them. Like,
What do you
I don't
ask
know.
them? Do you respect me? Do you really love me? What do you think of how I live my life? Okay, how about euphoria forever? Imagine the
Oh.
following three sensations. Number one, chewing and swallowing the first mouthful of your favorite food after starving yourself for 48 straight hours. The food is prepared perfectly.
Ooh.
Number two, lying down on an especially cozy bed after 12 hours of nonstop physical labor on a cold day. Number three, the first moment of urinary release after having held a completely full bladder for more than 90 minutes.
Okay, so I've had that before though.
Yeah, well,
That one's a definite have had.
yeah, it's like, I mean, the last two are something you probably could experience. First one, you have to literally starve yourself for 48
Yeah.
hours to
Yeah.
experience it, but you get the idea. For the rest of your life, you'll feel one of these three ways all the time. This is how you will always feel 24 hours a day. You won't be doing the specific activity, but you'll always be experiencing the acts accompanying euphoria. Which one will you select? So, after chewing and swallowing your favorite food after 48 straight hours, lying in a
Yep.
cozy bed after 12 hours of nonstop physical labor in a cold day, or the first moment of urinary release after having a full bladder for more than 90 minutes. It's gotta be the food, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
That's mine.
That's yours. Okay. I'm gonna say urinary release. Honestly.
Urinary release.
Yeah. That's just like because of how much I work on the road. There are a lot of times where I have to be working. Like I have to be like at the next stop soon, and oftentimes it's in a residential area, but it's also in the middle of nowhere, relatively speaking. So there's no like public bathrooms. I also can't then pull on the side of the road and take a leak out in the woods. So there are some times where I'm having to hold it for far longer than I would ever find comfortable. That moment when it first happens, oh, it's pretty amazing. Honestly, the bed is a very close second.
Okay.
Like that's almost first because like it is that relief is. I mean, everybody knows that relief. I mean, even if it's not necessarily like after the huge exertion, but you know, like when you're really tired and you just fall on an incredibly comfy, warm bed, there's just like it's a necessity to live, to have a feeling at least similar
Yeah.
to that. But
Here's the
I mean,
thing.
one of the other. I mean, you know, yeah, I don't know.
I'm leaning towards the first one because the second two, cozy
Yeah.
bed and urinary release, that's something you can actually experience, and it's like it feels great. But the first one you generally don't experience. I feel like if I were to taste my favorite food right now, that would be an amazing feeling because I'm hungry right now.
Right.
But if I intentionally starve myself for 48 hours, it's gonna feel a lot better. And I've never done that. I've never
It,
just starved myself for 48 hours, so I don't know the feeling. I imagine the euphoria is gonna be greater because of that, rather than you can work for
it's
12
yeah.
hours and
I,
experience these.
yeah. I suppose that's true.
I just feel like
Yeah,
taste
I
is
don't know.
so. Hmm.
Taste is really like yeah. Taste is really important. You're right. You're actually almost swinging me back around on that one now. I don't know, but here's the thing: it has to be something you feel all the time. I don't know that urinary release one. You feel it all
Always,
the
you're
time.
always
You
release
feeling
urine.
if you're always feeling that feeling, that's pretty great. It's
Always
pretty
just emptied that
yeah.
bladder, but always just the the immediate first taste of your favorite food prepared perfectly after 48 hours of starving
Wow,
yourself.
that's a tough one, dude. That's a tough one. I think I mean honestly like you could kind of swing me at one of three ways because you were starting to swing me with the way you were going there. You could kind of get me one like each way if you really kind of like convinced me well enough. But I'm gonna stick by my guns. I'm gonna go urinary release. But
Okay.
I could see it the other two ways. But yeah, no, just knowing how that feels for me, that'd be something that'd be nice to hang on to. It's
Yeah.
pretty satisfying euphoria.
Well, I'm sticking with my food. Here we have the countdown. You are presented with a strange challenge. Someone dares you to count backward from 300 to 0. If you succeed at this simple request, you will be given $25,000 in cash. However, if you misspeak, get any digit incorrect, or make any mistake whatsoever, you will immediately be doused with gasoline and burned alive. Do you attempt this challenge?
No.
That's a no from you?
That's a big fat no.
But you
I
get
mean, like,
$25,000. It's an easy task.
but if you get one wrong, you get doused in gasoline
That's a
and lit on
yikes.
fire. That's
That's a
big
big
yikes.
yikes.
It is. No, I don't attempt this challenge. It's tempting because it would put a big dent in my loans, but I'd rather hold on to my life. Thank you very much. And it,
300. You can take all the time you need. 299. 298. 207. Shit. I mean, if you take all the time you need, it's like, can you mess up? The pressure would get to you.
yeah.
And then, of course, burned alive. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. No. No thanks.
Here we have.
I'm no fun on that one.
Here's grisly weather.
Like, okay.
Think of someone who is your friend. Do not select your best friend, but make sure the person is someone you would classify as considerably more than an acquaintance.
Okay.
This friend is going to be attacked by a grizzly bear. Now, this person will survive this bear attack, that is guaranteed. There is a 100% chance that your friend will live. However, the extent of his injuries is unknown. He might receive nothing but a few superficial scratches, but he might also lose a limb or multiple limbs. He might recover completely in 24 hours with nothing but a great story, or he might spend the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Somehow, you have the ability to stop this attack from happening. You can magically save your friend from the bear, but his salvation will come at a peculiar price. If you choose to stop the bear, it will always rain. For the rest of your life, wherever you go, it will be raining. Sometimes it will pour and sometimes it will drizzle, but it will never not be raining. But it won't rain over the totality of the earth, nor will the hydrological cycle be disrupted. These storm clouds will be isolated, and they'll focus entirely on your specific whereabouts. You will never see the sun again. Do you stop the bear and accept a lifetime of rain?
That's got a lot harder all of a sudden. The never seeing the sun again part. That honestly, that part is like
Big bummer.
yeah, that's a big bummer right there. Just you have your own personal cloud weather. Everyone's like, "Wow, what a beautiful sunshiny day," and you're like, "I literally can't see it.
Okay, so
It's just raining."
worst case scenario, your friend is paralyzed for life, basically.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
As a human carrot.
But you had a human carrot. That's not paralyzed.
Human vegetable.
That's not paralyzed for life. That's like lost consciousness.
That's also a worst case scenario.
Was that part? Was that in there? I didn't
No,
hear that part.
they just said you don't know the extent of the injury, so I'm
Oh.
guessing that's the worst case scenario.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you don't. But you don't. You don't know, but you know that you have the power to stop it.
Or
Do
it
I
could
take
be
that
nothing.
chance? Hmm.
I mean, here's like the worst case scenario for you is that it's raining all the time and your friend has no injuries, and but you did such a beautiful thing.
You did do a beautiful thing for a person. Am I that am I that
Do you
altruistic?
care that much about this friend you have in mind? Who is not your best friend, of course.
I do. I think I'd do it. I think I'd
Yeah.
do it. I want to save them. I wouldn't have saved them from injury.
They didn't say you had to conceal the information. You could at least like hold that over their heads.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, man, just so you know, I saved your life, and
It has to be rained
I'm
on
no,
forever.
it's just raining on. So is that wait? Does that mean that it's like raining on you indoors, or like you just
I
there's
don't
just
know.
it's always raining? Period.
That's
I
interesting.
assumed it
Yeah,
was just always raining. Period. It wasn't necessarily raining on you at all
yeah,
times.
like it comes inside for you,
Yeah, it's like I have my own personal cumulonimbus.
and like
It's just
you can use an umbrella still, right? It doesn't come underneath the umbrella, get
you're
you.
like literally you're just like literally always in like a raincoat. Like
Yeah. So you just never leave the house whenever you don't need to. It's just like I don't want to go. It's like it's beautiful out. Come on, enjoy the weather. Not for
yeah.
me. Not for
I
me.
think I'd take it. I mean, like rainy weather really isn't that terrible. I mean, I work out in it. It's been raining like crazy this spring. I work in rainy weather like all the time. So like,
Hmm.
I mean,
It would
it's kind of a
definitely
bummer.
it would
It's
get
kind of a
it would
bummer.
get
It,
depressing for sure.
it would
But
definitely get depressing, but like I feel like I'd want to spare somebody potential large amounts of pain or potential not large amounts of pain. But I don't know. That's the one part I don't know. So like
I
that
think
unknown
that's the thing for me
is
though.
enough. That unknown is enough for me to at least make that attempt in case it's worse.
Yeah, I think the worst for me is definitely better than the worst for them. So it's like you'd have to just
Yeah.
not care about this person to
Yeah.
make that decision, that selfish decision, you know?
Yeah. You have to have a lot of terrible friends.
Because cause, like you really, I think the depression will be greater when you decide not to not to prevent this bear attack and they get messed the hell up.
Yeah, and when you know you could have. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
endure the rain.
that does things to you. Or would do things to you.
The rain is nothing. All right, here we go. This one's the price of sex appeal.
Okay.
You meet a wizard.
I don't know what that is.
You meet a wizard in downtown Chicago. The wizard tells you he can make you more attractive if you pay him money. When you ask how this process works, the wizard points to a random person on the street. You look at this random stranger. The wizard says, "I will now make him $1 more attractive." He waves his magic wand. Ostensibly, this person does not change at all. As far as you can tell, nothing is different. But somehow, this person is suddenly a little more appealing. The tangible difference is invisible to the naked eye, but you can't deny that this person is vaguely sexier. This wizard has a weird rule, though. You can only pay him once. You can't keep giving him money until you're satisfied. You can only pay him one lump sum up front. So how much cash do you give the wizard?
Okay.
I'd say I'd take a look at my bank account,
Yep.
and I'd take at least a few hundred. Because you're never going to get this chance again. You gotta go, I'd go $1,000 up front.
Really?
Just for the novelty of it alone.
Just for the novelty, man. I'm slamming down
It's an experience.
ten,
Like you,
10 Benjamins on this one.
like you pay so much money to go on a trip, you know, but you got this magical
true.
wizard here.
It makes you more attractive.
It's at
Yeah.
very least it's a story to tell. But if a dollar, you can't see any difference, but you still sense a slight difference. I feel like $1,000, you're making a lot of difference, maybe.
Well, I feel like maybe more, yeah, maybe more women would be interested in me, but then they'd still think it was really weird how much I like anime. So,
But there was like a general aura. It seemed like you felt sexier.
just like exude. Yeah, but like it doesn't change your personality at all, and
Right.
that's gonna have to knock it in some way. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
but
not his process, but like that'll like if you're just weird, no one's gonna like you anyway. So
so
that's
you're saying
no.
your weirdness,
Uh,
it does not make up for your weirdness.
I'd probably for the novelty, like you said, I'd probably slam somewhere between $100 and $200.
Okay.
I'd slam that down. Yeah, I'd be definitely certainly more attractive, physically attractive. If somehow my aura is more attractive to people. It'd be interesting. I don't like tons of like attention as it is. I kind of like just going about my business and doing my own thing. But like,
So if he made you less attractive, you pay
no,
$5,000.
no, that's stupid. I'm fine. I'm a adequate amount of attractive as it is.
All right. Well, I need more.
As in not very. But if I was to do it, then yeah, I just especially because like if $1 does something, you still kind of notice it. $100 is going to do a pretty decent amount.
That's the problem with
to up
no
your
gauge though, is he can easily scam you. Like it's like the disparity between $1 and $100 could just actually be barely anything. It's like it's going to take $1,000,000 to make much difference.
Yeah, well, I suppose we
That's
in
the risk.
this hypothetical world we create, I'd have to see another example. So he'd have to
Damn
throw
wizard.
me. Yeah, this wizard needs to show me what $20
The
does.
wizard's not really even in it for the money, because he could just accept more money later, but he's like, no, you get one sum, and then he'll never be my customer again.
Yep. So yeah, somewhere between 100 and 200.
Okay, $1,000. $1,000.
All right. You'd just be one. You'd be on the cover of Men's Fitness or something. I don't know.
Men's Fitness. All
Be on
right.
the cover of GQ.
Yeah, who knows?
Be like, dang, that dude is. Man, he's
That guy,
hot.
I swear he was more attractive than he was yesterday. He's like,
It's just like I don't know what happened.
someone, yeah.
Like some wizard got a hold of him and just made him more attractive somehow.
Who we got? Prison culture.
All right, this is getting dark pretty
A
quickly.
totally innocent man is sent to prison for 25 years, all for a crime he did not commit. The
Sucks.
DNA evidence sucks. The DNA evidence that indisputably proves his innocence does not emerge until he has completed his full sentence.
Ooh.
During those 25 years in prison, he kills 3 other inmates, sells drugs, is tangentially involved with the rape of another prisoner, mercilessly abuses a canine police dog, and steals food from other inmates on a regular basis.
Okay.
However, he was never caught doing any of these illegal acts. Upon his release from prison, he openly admits to doing all these things. In fact, he brags about these activities to the media. Prison is a different culture, he explains. I did what I had to do to survive. You are head of the penal system. You have just learned of this man's wrongful imprisonment and about all the terrible things he did while in jail. Do you release him back into society, or do you attempt to charge him with the new crimes he claims to have committed during his prison stay?
I feel like this is an incredibly obvious answer.
Yes.
How could you say anything other than try to get him back into the system? Well, actually, hold on. I now see what this question is doing.
Yeah.
Originally, I was like, well, obviously you want to slam him back in there, but if you put him back in there, then he's just going to do all these horrible things
He's gonna
again.
rape inmates again.
Yeah, that's not okay. When you throw out the R word, that's not cool, dude.
Yeah, but it's,
That's like literally nothing about that is cool.
yeah. Yeah. But the problem is he served 25 years.
Okay, so here's the thing. He's saying that he wouldn't do these things if he gets out of prison.
Sure.
But
Maybe.
why would I believe him?
Right?
Why would I believe him that he would not do any of these things once he claims it's a different culture, but I would say that it's not. The culture may have quote unquote changed him, but he's responsible for allowing it to have this change in his life. So he's not the same person that he was when he entered in. He is changed. He maybe he won't necessarily do these same things when he's out in society, but he has the potential to. And like, as cruel as it sounds, that's way worse than for him to do these things to people who are already in prison. Who, again, terrible, terrible, terrible things to people. That's not okay. It shouldn't be a good thing. But like,
Here's the thing: does it balance itself out that he was in there for 25 years for a crime
No.
he didn't commit?
No.
When someone comes out of a crime of something like that, like you've heard stories of people coming out
Yeah.
30 years
Yeah.
after,
Yeah.
like they're
But
getting
that still doesn't excuse what he's doing while he's in
doesn't
there.
excuse, but there are generally you get tons of money for that, like to make up for what you did.
Yeah.
It's
Usually,
like,
yeah.
does the money outweigh the crimes you committed? The problem is the system made him worse than when he started, rather than the ideal scenario for prisoners for them to reform and come out better.
Yeah.
But he went in an innocent man and came out a bad man.
A horrible person. But that's the thing. But that's my point. That's exactly my point. It's still his responsibility. Yes, the system clearly failed him, and I think the system should have some culpability and some responsibility for that. But it's still ultimately down to the person to allow that change to happen within themselves. You know, I mean, like, you could come up with different hypotheticals all day about this, but there, personal responsibility is like as a big deal, and like you know, well, you can get horribly philosophical with this, but like, I don't think that there's like, I don't know if I'd say that there is if there's like, yeah,
So
like yeah, I don't know, the culture period, a culture can, the individuals in a culture can do horrible things.
I mean, here's the thing:
meaning that the culture itself is responsible, but each of those individual people are responsible for either conforming or not conforming to that culture. And he conformed to the culture. That's his responsibility for doing that. You know, he didn't hold on to that hope of I'm innocent and like, yes, the system's failed me. Yes, I could spend this horrible period of time in here, but I'm still going to keep fighting. No, he allowed himself to be corrupted.
I think a lot of the time you're going to lose that hope. It's very hard to not lose the hope. 20 years have passed.
Yeah,
but it's the direction he took. Here's the thing: he said, "I did what I had to do to survive." Prison is a different culture.
That's just not true.
I don't know where the abusing a canine police dog comes into effect, though. How does that come into prison culture? He said he mercilessly abuses a canine police dog. That's a character. Like,
where does I don't know, you know, like raping another person coming down. I mean, like, I know that that's like a thing in prison culture.
He's tangentially involved with the rape of another prisoner.
What does that even mean?
I guess he like holds his guy down for another guy. That kind of thing.
That's awful. That's
but maybe he's the uncomfortable one here. He's been the one who's been forced into this position.
He's been tangentially involved.
He killed 3 other inmates, maybe all out of self-defense. And the prison gang, he would have died if he didn't kill these other inmates. He's selling drugs.
Yeah, but that's all still his personal responsibility, though.
But we can't ignore the 25 years. Where does the 25 years of injustice come in? What does that do for him?
That's horrible. But like,
you can't. Does he get nothing for it? He just goes right back in, and then it's just like,
no, he'd probably get some money, so he'd be able to like stay in a cushier place in prison. But
and it's like if you charge him with the new crimes he claims to have committed, like are you going for life sentences again, right? You're going for life sentences for killing people,
or worse.
Would you be willing to lessen that sentence for the guy? 25 years.
Would I lessen the sentence?
Yeah, maybe like just for the ironic fact, just give him 25 years again.
Yeah, no, I'd probably do that.
Good measure.
Why not? Yeah, sure. You'd probably be dead by that time. So.
Well, who knows how old he was, but he
could
survive. He'd be 75.
Or if he's going to be doing all those horrible things to people anyways.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you put him back in for an extended amount of time, he's definitely doing these again.
Yeah. So that means we're spending more taxpayer money to keep him there. I think we need to consider. We need to consider an alternative.
What's the alternative?
The death penalty.
Oh no!
Controversial.
What a way to go! He served 25 years for a crime he didn't commit, and suddenly he's dying.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd quite go that far in that span of time, but I think he should. Man, that's really this is interesting. This is a juicy question.
Because here,
This is
if
a
you
good
put
one.
him, this is the thing. The odds are definitely better if you put him out of the system that he'll be better than if you put him in, and you give him several years or a life sentence. Literally no hope at that point. He's like, my life is over. I'm gonna do what I want.
Keep him in solitary.
That's even that's not cool though.
Why?
Because solitary is awful.
Yeah,
That's worse.
he's done pretty horrible things to people. I
He was raped metaphorically by the system.
Yeah, the system clearly failed him, but that doesn't excuse what he's doing when he's supposed to be an innocent man. He should hold on to that and not be not conform to a horrible, terrible culture. That's within his ability.
Here's the
He can
thing.
He can rise above that.
All right, so I think
He should be.
killing the inmates. I get it. Selling the drugs, fine.
Okay.
Tangential rape, I can
Nah.
see it.
No.
But steals food, all right. But where it crosses the line is the merciless abuse of a canine police dog. I don't see it fitting into the narrative.
It's very weird in terms of the narrative. I mean, I don't know if I'd be like okay with you saying I get it for the tangential rape, but
No, I'm just saying like if you look at that one point, it's like there's no possible justification for that, right? So that's just like your character is so far gone at this point that like your morality's messed up.
well, yeah.
That, like, did you get swindled into beating a dog mercilessly? I don't know. Were you coerced? I don't think so. Is that prison culture? No.
Yeah. So that guy, you want to release that guy back out in society?
No,
I don't think
that's my
I don't
argument
think so.
for not. That's the one thing that tips me over.
Yeah, I don't think so. He's clearly unstable.
I'm sorry, guy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude, you let yourself be transformed by that system, man. Not by the system, you let yourself down by conforming to a horrible, miserable existence. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Rise above.
Let's do one or two more. This one's called the dress
Are,
code.
are they going to be as controversial?
This one's called the dress code, so probably not. You work in an office performing a job that you find satisfying and which compensates you adequately. The company that employs you is suddenly purchased by an eccentric millionaire who plans to immediately raise each person's salary by 5% and extend an extra week of vacation to all full-time employees. However, this new owner intends to enforce a somewhat radical dress code. Every day, men will have to wear tuxedos, tails, and top hats. During the summer months, male employees will be allowed to wear gray three-piece suits on casual Fridays. Women must exclusively work in formal wear, preferably ball gowns or prom dresses. Each employee will be given an annual $1,500 stipend to purchase necessary garments, but that money can only be spent on work-related clothing. The new regime starts in 3 months. Do you seek employment elsewhere?
A new regime?
Yeah.
Wait, what was the stipulation at the beginning? What was it about? Was it something about how well you're paid, or
The company, this millionaire is going to raise every person's salary by 5% and extend an extra week of vacation to all full-time employees. You just have to abide by this dress code. I think I 5% extra week of vacation. And you're already satisfied and being paid adequately is what the idea is, so
an extra 5% would be nice.
yeah, I mean
An extra week of vacation would be really nice
they're
too.
paying you for the necessary to get the necessary garments. I'm all in.
I think I'd do it. Yeah, I think I'd do it. I mean, like, depending on what the job is, it'd be like, you know, like say you're like working at like like a factory or something. You're like,
you work in an office, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Absolutely. I would 100%.
You're sitting in your cubicle with
I
your
would
top hat.
absolutely do this.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It is a little weird, maybe a little
Yeah.
weird flag for the millionaire guy, but
Yeah, definitely weird.
because he's like, I want you all to dress up and the women get your pretty dresses out.
Yeah, so like the female perspective on this, I'd really like to know because I'm sure that would be a little different.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe other guys would think differently
I
than
mean, it's
me.
it's easy for us to wear a tuxedo and a top hat. If you give us the
Yeah,
money, it's like.
yeah, absolutely. It would 100%. I love the way I look in a tux. It's cool.
But
It's
it's
great.
like
I love.
suddenly the women are on display though. It's like you give them
Yeah,
get
it's
your
a
nice
little weird.
dress out.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
When
So
everybody in
yeah,
my office is working and they're looking pretty, bro. Wow, that's weird
yeah.
flex. Weird flex
So,
from the millionaire for sure.
so a women's perspective on that would be interesting. So
That's the ultimate flex. He comes in, he's like, "I'm gonna pay you guys more, but you gotta do my dress code because my weird fantasy I have."
but I want all the men in tuxedos. Like is it? Are we like going back to like 20s, like
And
roaring
top hats.
20s?
Casual Fridays, you get to wear a 3-piece gray suit.
I will meet you in the smoking room, and we will discuss the news of the monarchy.
This one's called Homeless Boulevard.
Okay,
You encounter a boulevard filled with homeless people, human waste, and dried blood.
really sad.
There are at least 50 people lying in the street, men, women, and teenagers. It's the middle of summer, and none of them have bathed in weeks. A few are crackheads, most are intoxicated, a handful are mentally insane. All are hungry and desperate. Suddenly, you are granted an incredible capability. If you have unprotected intercourse with any of these individuals, right then and there, immediately on the sidewalk, in public, you will end worldwide homelessness forever.
Worldwide homelessness?
Within 5 years, no one will ever be homeless again, and everyone will know it was because of your selflessness. However, if you elect not to do this, no one will ever know you had this opportunity. You will not be held accountable for not choosing to do anything. Do you do this, you can select the homeless person you will have sex with. 100%.
If I can choose, yes.
It's worth the risk.
Yeah. I mean, like, would I be compromising my morals? 100%. Would I still do it because I would be saving aspects of humanity? Absolutely.
And what are the odds that something bad comes of it from your exchange, right?
I
What
mean,
are the
probably pretty good.
odds?
Probably pretty good, but
You pick the best good-looking homeless person you can find.
yeah, sure.
The best not bathed person.
Yeah.
Oh,
it'd be gross.
And you have to do it on the sidewalk in public. That's interesting. But you're also on Homeless Boulevard. Anything goes on Homeless Boulevard. The dried blood on the streets.
Not cool. Not okay.
But worldwide
yeah,
homelessness.
If I could end worldwide homelessness and hunger, yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but then what happens to the middle class, right?
they all just become one.
We're screwed. The homeless
Just one
people. The
class.
homeless people aren't hungry anymore. So, what's the point of the middle class? All right.
And it's ending it forever too, so you wouldn't have it ever again. So
Right. I mean, that's pretty good. You have to be pretty selfish to not do that, I think.
yeah,
You care that much about your own well-being. These people, they're already homeless. They're already starving. Let them continue. I don't want a new problem. All right. This one's called Earth versus the Moon.
all right. Last one.
Maybe. This one's really short, actually.
Oh, okay.
You have won a prize. The prize has 2 options, and you can choose either, but not both. The first option is a year in Europe with a monthly stipend of $2,000. The second option is 10 minutes on the moon. Which option do you select?
A monthly stipend of $2,000.
Yeah, and you're there for a year in Europe, or 10 minutes on the moon.
The science fiction fan says you want to spend time on the moon. The frugal and practical part of me says spend the time in Europe, you fool. I'd probably go with the Europe, honestly. 10 minutes on the moon would be pretty rad. But, like, I mean, what is there to do?
What's to do on the moon? I don't think you go to the moon for fun. It's like
It's more like the
jaw-dropping
experience.
experience. Yeah,
Yeah.
you get to look at.
I'd rather go to like go in orbit or something.
Right.
That would be hard. That would be harder for me than going to the moon, or like going to like Mars or something.
Right, but you get to say you're one of the few that went on the moon.
You could brag about that. Maybe you could
the
make
opportunity.
money. You could make money in television interviews by doing that. Yeah.
And then go to Europe.
My 10 minutes on the moon, and you could write a book about it. Yeah.
And you get money
about my 10 minutes on the moon.
You get money and you go to Europe for a year anyway. How about that?
Yeah, no. I'd take the Europe.
What do you mean? Well, think about it. It's like practically though. Europe, that sounds great. I mean, I'd prefer that as an experience, to be honest. But if you go to the moon for 10 minutes, that's an experience you're not going to get offered up until unless you're specifically going into that very direct field that's very hard to get into. Europe, you have the opportunity if you
Yeah,
want
I mean,
to
like
work for
I
it.
could probably go there if I could just take vacation. I could probably buy a ticket and fly there now.
Yeah, it's like maybe not for a
But
year, but it's like
yeah,
you can experience that, whereas the moon is something you probably will never experience. So that's the thing to consider when I'm going to Europe.
yeah, still,
I just don't care.
yeah. I do. I mean, I do. I think that would be really great. I love space. I love all that cool jazz.
All right, this is
But
the
yeah,
last
I
one
mean,
for sure.
okay.
Musical rehearsal. Reversal. The musical reversal.
Nice. All right, we got to get the get the words right here.
Assume everything about your musical taste was reversed overnight. Everything you once
Ooh.
loved, you now hate. Everything you once hated, you now love. For example, if your favorite band has always been REM, they will suddenly sound awful to you. They will become the band you dislike the most. By the same token, if you've never been remotely interested in the work of Yes and Jethro Tull, those two groups will instantly seem fascinating. If you generally dislike jazz today, you'll generally like jazz tomorrow. If you currently consider the first album by Veruca Salt to be slightly above average, you'll abruptly find it to be slightly below average. Everything will become its opposite, but everything will remain in balance, and the rest of your personality will remain unchanged. So, in all likelihood, you won't love music any less or any more than you do right now. There will still be artists you love and who make you happy. There will be all the artists you currently find unlistenable. Now, I concede that this transformation would make you unhappy, but explain why.
I feel like a lot of the music that I love is tied to specific things. I raised up my shirt while you were reading the question, my Distant Worlds music from Final Fantasy shirt. So
Yeah.
I'd miss out on a lot of game music. I'd miss out on a lot of movie soundtracks. I'd miss out on a lot of classical music and opera, and I'd miss out on grunge. I'd miss out on classic rock. I'd miss out on U2. I'd miss out on so many things that I love. And it's like, yeah, I would gain a greater appreciation for things that I don't like, but a lot of what I like is, like, in terms of music, is tied to just what I like in general. Music is super. I mean, whenever we talk about games, I guess we didn't really do this too much on our five things. I tried to mention it as much as I could, but music in games is like a super huge, super important factor for me.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if I didn't enjoy that music, if I would just be listening to, like, hip hop the whole time, which I don't have any interest in really, I'm just listening to that the whole time while I'm playing this game instead like in headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like I'm missing out on an integral part of the experience.
But do you ever play a video game and you're like, I don't like this music?
Not very often.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like,
Then
I
it's
mean, like,
not
I mean, like Urban Yeti,
right. It's not.
which is
Yeah.
which I find funny because of how bad the music is. So I guess I would find it. I'd like it, and then I'd want to defend it and wonder why people are laughing at it. I guess, which would be weird.
so, so yeah,
That's the
most
that's
of
the
the
opposite.
time, yeah, most of the time, a good video game is gonna have good music, like music that you'll enjoy. So it's not gonna really help you,
Some really bad video games have good music too.
right? So it
So
will probably not help you to like the opposite in that scenario.
Yeah.
For me, it's definitely like I was never huge. Music was not very important to me until Pentatonics, and then
Okay, yeah.
I mean that's my whole been part of this whole community and everything.
Yeah, that's like your thing on your channel.
Yeah,
So like,
so
yeah, that'd be horrible for you.
I feel like
Really, you'd like completely lose like, yeah,
like that's had a big impact on me the last few years. So
yeah, yeah,
and
big time.
before that, it's like obviously music was a part of my life. It was like it came and went, but it was never a huge thing that I focused on. But now I'm like reviewing music, so it's like I don't think there would be much value in liking the opposite, and I don't really know what the opposite of what I like is at this point. I like a lot of different things. I'm open to a lot of different things, so I'm curious what I would really like now. What's the opposite of?
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, definitely. That's why. That's what this prompt is. Explain why.
Yeah. Why? Well, that's why. Just because it's. Yeah.
There's more. There's more to it than just the sound. It's like the actual
Yeah.
attachment and
Exactly.
ramifications. There's a lot of ramifications of just losing things that have been like so important to you.
Right.
So
Big time.
all right, I think that we can wrap it up there. I mean, look,
Yeah.
we did.
That was fun. Honestly, that was great. That was got juicy with that prison one.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's a beautiful number.
Awesome. That's great. I didn't know how many we were getting through. So
let's shoot for that. Cool. Then if we do another one, we'll do 10 at a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we did cool. 10 out of 50. So
hey, we got enough for five episodes of this.
Yeah. Woo. Who knows when we'll have time to do that, but.
Yeah, really, we've got a tight schedule coming up.
But I'd love to do that.
Stuff we want to do.
It would be cool actually if we could get someone else in here to talk about it too. It would be interesting to have another perspective.
Yeah, if we had a guest or something, yeah, that would be a fun one to break out for a guest for sure.
Because this is the kind of thing you can really talk about with if you have a bunch of different perspectives to bounce it off of. It's interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the moral dilemmas though. Those are good. The prison culture one's definitely the best. My favorite one.
That one was like I said, that one was pretty juicy. So.
All right. Well, thank you for watching. This gives my Tarqaron score of 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't give it a score, but hey, sound off in the comments if you're watching. Let us know what you think about some of these. What perspectives you would have taken.
Rusty, are you out there? Are you watching?
Yeah, is Rusty watching? What would he do? I know he likes these type of things, hypotheticals and would you rather's and everything like that.
Let's get him to do these too. He'll be the guest on every video. Like maybe when we do the Gents Challenge stuff, maybe we can have do like one of these before because we'll be short videos, you know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it. Thank you. Oh my God.
Bye bye.